Tackle Junkies. What's going on, fellas? I feel like I just got out of a shower. It's not that hot out, but it's so humid. Man, it's sticky out here. Today, I'm gonna tell you guys everything you need to know about tossing a spinnerbait. All right, first up, what is a spinnerbait? Basically, it's a hunk of lead there, hook, a wire arm, blades. You'll either have, one, two, sometimes three or four, just depending which spinnerbait you pick, but most of the time, just one or two blades. This particular spinnerbait here is the Picasso Invis wire. One of my favorites right here. I got another video about these spinnerbaits, which I'll link below. But if you're gonna fish that clear water, this one here is really, it's more one of the realistic spinnerbaits out on the market, especially with this wire here. It's got a brown coating on it. It's not nearly as visible as like a bright stainless wire. So I'll definitely check those out if you're in the market to pick up some new spinnerbaits. Now let's start out with when I like to fish a spinnerbait as far as like seasonal, like time of year. And I guess it'd be a lot easier to tell you guys when I don't fish a spinnerbait. When the legs froze, I don't have one tied on. It's pretty much that simple. It's a bait that I can cover a lot of water with. I have a ton of confidence in it. And, I just always have one tied on. I'll start fishing normally. Water temps are probably like, low to mid 40s, just starting out, early spring. I'll fish that spinnerbait all year until we're back in the low to mid 40s and falling. I have it tied on all year, and I just let the water temps dictate how fast I reel that spinnerbait. The colder the water, the slower I'm gonna reel it. The warmer the water, the faster I can reel it. So like I said, when the water's cold, I'm just gonna kind of slow roll it. And when the water's warmer, I'll speed it up. So like I said, I have one tied on all year long. All right, the question you guys have pretty often is conditions. When is the best time, as far as like conditions go during the day and all that, to toss a spinnerbait? Really, time of day is not a huge deal. I believe it's cloud cover, wind is really what you're looking for. Low light conditions is really what's best. So not really a certain time of day, just whenever you got, like I said, low light conditions, a little bit of cloud cover, wind. Wind is always good with spinnerbaits, and guys ask me that a lot. What is the deal with wind and spinnerbaits? What's up, dude?
Tree bass.
Tree bass, 2 points. But wind does quite a few things for fishing in general. We'll get to what I believe it does just for spinnerbaits, but the wind, first thing I think it does, it helps to kind of oxygenate the water. A wind-blown bank is typically more productive than one that's not getting hit by the wind. The wind just makes the fish more active. I bet this would be a good tree here for some crappie fishing. No, I don't feel like digging it out right now. All right, 2, the wind helps position the fish. Okay, let's say you got a south, like on this lake, if I had a south wind blowing right now, and I got some stumps right in front of me here. Okay, if I had a south wind blowing, the north-facing side of those stumps is protected. So you can bet on it, the bass will be sitting on that north-facing side, waiting for something to come by from the south so they can swim out there and grab it and get an easy meal. So like I said, it helps position the fish. You can almost bank on it. Like I said, if I got a south wind on this lake, I'm gonna go hit the north-facing side of those stumps, and that's where the fish should be. So it doesn't always turn out that way, but it's a good good thing to start on. At least that's what I do. Okay, some people feel that wind blows the bass around, which I don't believe that. I don't really believe it even blows the shad around, but what I do believe is what the shad eat, what the bluegill eat, what really the bait fish in your lake eat gets blown around. Then the bait fish follow, and then the bass follow. So I believe the bass are actually following the shad because they're swimming towards what they eat. But what I feel it does the most for a spinnerbait, it helps to camo the bait. Like I showed you earlier, a spinnerbait is not realistic looking at all. Okay, in clear water, if they get too good a look at that, they're not going to hit it. That's why really wind, low light conditions, cloud cover, you know, it's critical in clear water, because they'll just get too good a look at it. You know, so in clear water, that's why you also hear a lot of guys, you know, burning that spinnerbait. Again, they don't want the fish to get too good a look at it. So that's really what wind does. If you don't have wind, you want cloud cover, you want, you know, just a low light time of day, like early morning, evening time, just when the sun's not out. You know, and really when the sun's out, you have a lot of light penetration. Okay, you know, they can see easier. So basically what you're looking for is a low light day. And what clouds and the wind does, it cuts down on light penetration. Okay, it's no different than you fishing with your sunglasses on, your polarized sunglasses. Okay, when it's sunny out, you can see further in the water, but when it's windy, okay, when there's a chop on the surface, you can't see as good. And that's the same for the bass. You know, a sunny day like this, they can get a lot better look, or a much better look at the lure versus on a windy day. So the wind, basically, it helps to camo the bait. Now, today, you can see the sun's out. We got some cloud cover, sun's popping in and out. I have zero wind, okay? Why am I fishing spinnerbait today? Well, I feel I can get away with it on lakes like this that have really low visibility the way it is, just because they can't get a look at it, okay, a good look at it. Okay, visibility on this lake right now is probably like 6 inches. So they can't see too well the way it is, so I don't really feel I need the wind or a bunch of cloud cover to help camo that bait. They can't see it that well. I'm only using a spinnerbait right now just for the vibration. Okay, I'm just trying to find fish with the vibration of this bait. They'll get a little bit of flash from those blades, but mainly I'm running this bait, you know, where I feel fish should be. They can feel that vibration. Hopefully they come out and hit it. So like I said, it's not, I don't feel it's critical on a lake with low visibility. Because again, it's not a you know, it's not a visual strike. They're just feeling that bait, then they'll come up and hit it. They may see it last second, but they're not seeing it really as I'm reeling it in, you know, from a good distance away. Okay, where do I fish spinnerbaits? Basically, I'm looking for stumps. Laydowns are great, right along a laydown, grass edge. Like on this lake, we used to have a lot more on this lake. I'm not really sure what's going on with this lake. It's fishing tougher and tougher, and less of the grass comes back each year. I mean, it's almost all gone. But along a grass edge is really good. Like I said, stumps, laydowns, rock. I mean, really anything you can find that will hold fish, I throw a spinnerbait along. And you got to think, you know, in clear water, you can throw out in deeper water and call fish up. You're not going to do that in this muddy water just because, again, they cannot see. What you doing? Oh. Okay, you're not going to do that in this kind of water because they can't see. So they're going to be by something. It's no different than you being like in a dark room. Say you're in your basement, lights are off, it's dark. You're not going to feel as safe just sitting in the middle of the room. You're going to back yourself up against a wall, a corner, something like that. Well, it's no different with the fish. They can't see that good, so they're going to back up or nose up to a stump, a lay down, some rocks, just so they feel safe. So I'm going to run that spinnerbait right along the stumps, right along the lay downs, right along the grass, see if I can pick off a few fish. Now, this isn't always the best lure. I mean, it's always a lure, put it this way, it's a lure that I always start out with, but it's not always the best choice. What I use it for is just to find fish. So I feel if I can pick off a fish or two with a spinnerbait, like in these conditions, then there's more fish in the area, then I'll slow down with a soft plastic or a jig or something like that. But it's just a bait that I can cover a whole lot of water with and hopefully find a few key areas, you know, find the active fish is really what I'm trying to do here. Okay, let's talk about retrieve. Okay, like I said, in clear water, like I said earlier, you hear about guys burning that spinnerbait in. You know, they're reeling it faster so the fish cannot get that good a look at it. Okay, when I have off-colored water like this, I really don't want to burn it. Again, they can't really see it that great, so I just, most of the time, just a steady reel, and I like to pop the rod because, you know, change is what triggers bites. So let's say, you know, I had a fish following this. Obviously, I can't see the fish. But let's say he's honed in on that vibration. He's starting to follow the bait, okay? When that bait changes, okay, when I pop the rod, the skirt flares, the blades bang together, that'll trigger a strike. So, I mean, you'll still catch a fish, just a steady reeling it in, you know, but I feel I do better reeling it, popping it, you know, just something like that. But it's always good to try and bang your lure into whatever it is you're fishing, whether it be stumps, laydowns, rock, whatever. I try and bump my lure along that cover that I'm fishing. Like I said, change is what triggers bites. But like I said, you can burn them in, steady reel, you can pop your rod, you can wake them right below the surface. Sometimes they won't hit top water, but they'll hit that spinnerbait, just waking it along there. So just mess around with retrieves and to see what works best for you. But typically, like I said, a steady reel, just the pop of the rod is what works for me. Now, one thing I want to mention too, on retrieve speed, your blade combination has a lot to do with it as well. Like I like willows. Okay, willows you can reel the fastest. Okay, they really won't blow out. You know, even I think striking makes that, what's it called, razor blade? It's just extra thin, you can reel them even faster. So I mean, a willow blade you can reel, like I said, the fastest. Colorado's got a lot of thump to it, so you really can't reel it as fast, but it's got more thump. An Indiana blade is kind of like the best of both worlds. It's got thump, it's got flash, okay? But I just prefer the willow. Like I said, I like to reel it a little bit faster. It just kind of fits my style of fishing, and I like the flash from the blades. Just pay attention to what blades that you're using and how you want to retrieve it. But you know, a double willow, or they have like a willow and a small Colorado, those are pretty popular. But 90% of the spinnerbaits I own are just a double willow. I just feel that that works the best for me. I don't screw around too much with different blades. I may change the size of blades. I do that a lot. And color, you know, usually I go for gold blades. They got a little more flash and it's muddier water. But the chrome or the silver there that I'm using now, they work pretty good as well. Let's talk about hook set. Now, you guys, from just watching my videos and just from comments that you make and all that, you're like, oh, why don't you set the hook? And, you know, I'm not big on that jack the jaw, rip the lips off hook set. You know, but it's I would like to be a hunter. You know, I love the idea of getting in the woods and scoping out the deer and all that, but I could never pull the trigger. You know, I could not kill an animal. And it's no different with fishing. Well, put it this way, I don't mind killing fish because, you know, they are pretty good. But, you know, I don't mind killing a fish. But when, like my buddy, I was with him one time, he set the hook on a fish. Fish didn't come in the boat, but his lips did. And that just really just turned my stomach. And I guess ever since that, I've always been, you know, real hesitant to really just crack a fish. I mean, on some baits you need to, but when I don't have to, I don't. You know, a lot of the times I just let the rod load up, and majority of the time I hook the fish. But with a spinnerbait or a moving bait, crankbaits, that's all you really need to do. You got your bait thrown out there. Okay, you already have the momentum, okay, of the bait coming into you. You're reeling it in. Okay, when a fish hits it, he's gonna come up and hit it and turn, okay, most of the time. Sometimes he'll come towards you, but most of the time he's gonna hit it and turn off. When he turns, you just keep pressure on him, and I just pull away from him. Just, you know, just a little sweep hook set. It's the same thing I do with the crankbait. And like I said, just keep pressure on him and he'll hook himself. But I mean, you're already reeling the bait in, the line's tight. He's gonna grab it, he's gonna turn, you're gonna sweep away, he's hooked. But that's about all I do as far as the hook set goes on a spinnerbait. Guys, I was hoping to catch a fish or two here for you guys. Be honest, I may have been cursed. When we got here, I set the cameras up, then I tied my spinnerbait on, made one cast. On my first cast, I caught a fish. And I was like, oh no, hopefully it's not the first cast catching a fish curse. And it could have been. But I mean, as soon as it hit the water, fish hit it. All right, let's talk gear. I get this one a lot too. And I've used, I mean, guys, like I said, spinnerbaits has been, man, it's one of the baits I first started with. It's a bait like I said, I always use, always have tied on. I've used a bunch of different gear for spinnerbaits. I've used, you know, longer rods, shorter rods, extra fast action, fast, moderate, cranking rods. I mean, I've used it all. And my favorite of the last few years has been a shorter rod, you know, a 6'8", 6'9", something in that range. And then I like that moderate fast action. Like right now I'm using the Okuma EVX. This is the 6'8", I believe, Ceteros reel in a 6'6". I also like the Martin APC in a 6'9". It's a medium heavy, I believe, with moderate fast action. You know, I just feel that with a moving bait, that softer action. It just allows the fish to have the bait just that 1 extra second, and you just hook up a lot better with that softer action. As far as line goes, you know, I use fluorocarbon and I use mono. I probably use mono the most. When I used to use a faster action rod, I always used to use mono just because I felt the rod was a little bit stiffer. I wanted some give somewhere, so I used the rod that had more stretch in it, which was mono. Now that the rods have some give, now that I'm using that moderate action rod, you know, I don't mind using fluorocarbon just because it has less stretch, because the rod is giving. But I still put mono on these. Like right now I'm using a 15-pound Seagar Senshi. On the other, like I got 3 spinnerbait rods with me right now. The other one's got 15-pound mono, and then one other one has 15-pound fluorocarbon. But it's something you can play around with. I mean, I feel both lines work well. But if you're using a stiffer rod, you're going to want some give somewhere. I would definitely go with mono for that. But for a softer rod, like I said, either works. But fluorocarbon's got less stretch, so if your rod's given, you can go with a line that has less stretch in it. I can't believe I haven't got bit yet. So guys, that should be everything that you need to know about tossing a spinnerbait. Again, I like to add some fish catches in this video. Fish don't always cooperate, especially on this lake. But like I said, that should be enough info for you guys to go out and hopefully catch some fish on spinnerbaits in your lakes. If you guys have any comments or questions, feel free to leave those below. If you guys haven't subbed to the channel yet, I'd appreciate it, a sub, and also remember to hit that bell next to the subscribe button. That way you get notified every time I upload a new video. If you guys, yeah, that's right, smash that like button. If you guys like the video, smash that like button, and give me some feedback on this video. This is the first video I've had both cameras set up. I feel I got them in a good place, but let me know for sure if this works for you guys. But like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, hope you learned something, and we will talk to you soon.